All right, y'all. Let's get into it. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Jovi Pursuit podcast. I am your host, Jovi, with my co-host, Brandon. How we doing, Brandon?
Good, man. In the throes of finishing up school year things for the kiddos, and it's so many different activities. Like, I kid you not, I was in session this week, and my watch started blowing up because we have like a shared calendar, and she was like getting, I think it was probably like 27 different like things that were needing to be set up in places we need to be over the next like 2 months. So
Good thing you guys are so organized. That's a lot.
I think we became more organized. So I think we became more organized because it was like out of necessity. Like, we will die out here trying to juggle all the things if we like don't get on the same page. So we had to figure it out. Hey, girly.
I was hoping she'd sleep longer, but she had already gone down kind of wonky, and then so it's been a little bit of a time. She gave me just enough time to play Power World before hopping on, and then she's like, "All right, time for the show. I'm in today."
Put me in, coach. I'm ready.
She's so distracted. Like she wants food, but she's like, "What's on the screen?"
It's a crazy guy. How's your week been?
How has it been? It's been on the rougher side med wise. I had my cortisone and lidocaine injections on Wednesday, and I had PT yesterday. Yeah, it was about another 22 shots. New doctor. He was quicker and more tappy after. Trying to like move this stuff around, as opposed to my last doctor, who was a little bit more gentle. He's just like, Oh, I can feel how tense you are. And he's just tapping away. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty tense.
Yeah. Yes, it is, sir. Thank you for pointing that out.
But with that appointment, I had quite the discovery. Maybe one that I've avoided. It's not a new discovery, but it's one that I've like tried to keep off to the side. I don't cut myself enough slack when it comes to all of this medical stuff. Really just try and act like everybody else and keep up with that status quo as opposed to what should be my own. And it's been a tough pill to swallow. And I wanted to cry the other day a bunch over it. Like, mainly just because it's like, finally, you're accepting this. It's only been 16, 17 years. And I'm like, maybe I'm not a regular person. Because my doc, he was like, yeah, and don't forget, your left ear is 43% worse than your right, and the average deficit, like, across the board. Like, 43% is pretty bad. And he's like, here's how you know, because 20% causes dizziness and vestibular issues, and you're double that and some. And I'm like, oh. So you're saying have more grace for myself? And my wife was like, yeah. Jill just, So that was a tough bit of the week. And it was just in between all of it going on. I like the first day was a bit of emotional tiredness, and then the second day was more physical, where the PT and the shots caught up with me, and I was like, I can't. I kept dozing off on the kid. Like, we're in the bed, she's playing in front, and I'm sitting there. And I'm like, I know dads be doing that. They be falling asleep on duty, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely like I can't manage, so I had to have Jill come home early, which I don't think she minded too much. She got through the majority of her day, and she had no more important meetings or anything like that. So that all worked out. But yeah, it's been a little rough med-wise.
Those are tough, man.
People, all people, go get checked out, man. I know doctors suck sometimes. Find a better one. But like, if you don't get checked out, you end up with issues like me. Consistent, chronic, just going rough you up. So go get checked out. Especially you men. I've said it once, I've said it a billion times on this show. Men, fix up.
Yeah. I was watching a Bill Burr bit this week where he was talking about what society allows men to feel and experience as far as their emotions or their sort of physical struggles. And it's the whole bit was basically like you're either given like you get to be fine or you get to be angry, one of the two. You don't get to be anything else.
Right. You can't be depressed over it. And any upsetness in your situation. It's all too. I think all of us men kind of know that, since even if we don't want to admit it, it's like there is some truth to the saying that, society doesn't really care about us in that regard. But I think it's time for us to change that in ourselves, because we shouldn't be relying necessarily on how the women have set up theirs and they back one another, and going to get their medical health checked out and all of that, where we have to take it on for ourselves as men talking to other men. We need to, hey, you're going to the doctor, you're getting checked up, I know you've been having this bowel problem for so long, like what are you doing about it? Like, we have to start talking more and more, because that's the only way that we're going to change. Because as much as we want women to help and guide us and this, that, and the third in life, it's supposed to be reversed. Let's act like it. We're supposed to help one another, but we got to fix up solo first.
I was having a discussion with a friend recently where one of the things I told him was, I think what we run into is like, so we know this from like the world of psychology and mental health, right? That if you tell a human a certain sort of statement about themselves long enough and frequently enough, they start to believe it about themselves. So what I told him was, I think men at times have been told that like they're not worth investing in that sort of stuff. And I think sometimes it's internalized now, where a lot of guys are like, I'm not worth putting any time or effort to improving my
100%.
like, so I think the starting point for a lot of men, it has to be, you're worth it. And you need to see that you're worth it.
Yeah.
Which I think for a lot of guys kind of makes them be like, that's a little too.
There's an emotion behind that.
Yeah.
You have to care, and it's easier to not.
Right.
Oh, I wish more men were open to the discussion. And like you said, we've pushed ourselves into a corner, and this is where we fenced off said corner, and like nobody else can get in here. You gotta be man. It's like, bro, open the door. Oh, come on.
Don't be that. Don't be that.
This is a sausage fest of bad people in here. Like, let's help. How about we let some of those good guys out there, that the ones that we talk shit about all the time, the ones that are actually doing well in life, how about we open the door to them, and they might change our view a little bit. Who's just saying? It's just, bro. I go back to the conversation we had about leadership, where it's like, if you really want to be a leader, you got to take on the full role. You can't just nitpick through it. And my daughter agrees. She's got her opinion in the background.
Nope.
But we're contradicting ourselves time and time again with this. Like, well, nobody cares about me, or I'm not worth the effort, but I should be giving all this effort toward everyone else. It's like,
yep,
you're a person too, and you fall into that category. Therefore, you're worth it. Like, whatever way you gotta mind trick yourself into believing that you're worth it, figure it out and do that. Because men, you're worth it. I think we need more men telling more men that they're worth it. There's a lot of things that us men have to have a discussion. All of this coming to my mind as we're talking about it. It's just, it saddens me to know that my fellow man out there is struggling with something that does not need to be alone. I don't want to say that it's easy, because it's not. You're removing a portion of yourself that you've held so hard onto for so long, but it's better. After going through my stint in therapy and then seeing how it applied to my life, I was like, okay, I see what they're talking about. Like, it makes so much more sense now that I'm applying the matter at hand. But if you don't have someone that you trust in your corner that you know is rallying for you, you're going to have a hell of a hard time. It's just what it is. And I don't think everyone needs to be in a therapy office, but we need to have those conversations with those people that we trust and hold near and dear to our hearts. It's just the long and short.
Yeah.
I want better for men, but I think that if we make men better, the world truly becomes a better place. Like, it'll be far beyond what we can even imagine now. We have some good men that are still trying to change the world, but they can't do it by themselves.
Can you imagine all the things that shift if you get that to move?
So many things, dude. You have happier families and such. I like to think I'm an example of that. Because, me and my wife get through it. But me improving myself improves the greater outcome of everything.
Yeah.
I think I played a larger role in it. It's not to be conceited. I think I played a large role in the dysfunction that we had going on, which meant that I had to play a larger role in healing the dysfunction.
Yeah.
And now I have a
good
one who likes to voice her opinion when people are talking.
She wants to be part of it, man. She's like, hey, I got something to say. Hold on here, people.
I feel like she's learned the most words from sitting in on our session.
Yeah.
Or she could be pooping. There's also that. She's grunting a whole lot back there.
It's just yeah.
It's so funny.
It is.
Oh, she's a rollover monster now. Just flopping all over the place. Fell off the couch. I made sure to put cushions down today. Because the first time she fell off, she bumped it. She had a little bump. I'm like, hey, it's going to happen eventually. Let me learn about it now. But then, if at this point, I'm just like either keeping her on the floor or it's in her pack and play, because furniture is off limits. That's, yeah. And what do you got? Let's see. I asked you a question earlier. You wanted to answer it in text. When we've been doing this for a year and a half, and I'm like, sir, you should know. Don't answer the message.
Fine.
All right, man. So now this, I think you're the greatest person to ask, being in the field of how do you know, what did I say? How do you know who you are if you, rewind. How do you know who you are if you've always been in the same loop or in the same survival mode? Um, you deal with people in survival mode all the time.
Mhm.
Is this a question that you pose to them, or how do you breach this subject?
The question of how do you know who you are if you are in survivor mode or if you've been in that same loop?
Mhm.
I pose the question. I think more often than not, I pose the hypothesis of, well, the hypothesis being like, I don't think you can know if you've been in the same loop. Because humans, you need different context and experiences to have a different insight in a way.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't know. I like trying to encourage people to get out of their comfort zones, try to do different things, challenge, challenge the thoughts that they've had their whole life. If you're in survival mode, how do you get to a lifestyle where you're not surviving or you don't need to take care of everyone else? So you can figure out what you want, what you need, what you like.
Kind of piggybacks off of what we were just talking about. Because a lot of men are just stuck in survival. Getting through the day.
Yeah.
Getting through the day is a great goal, but it shouldn't be the one that you tie yourself to. Unless you're at that cliff where you're like, well, at least I survived the day and I can take a step back. But that's a time and place sort of notion that I think should only be held there. But being in survival mode, I know for myself personally, I mean, I think I've just left it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I've just left it within the past year and a half or so. I've been walking out that pathway and I've come to a point where I'm not surviving. I'm finally feeling like I'm living.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I know it was a really difficult thing. So how do you coach somebody outside of just posing the question of, do you think you're in survival mode? How long do you think you're in survival mode? Like what further steps of self-reflection would you bring up?
Sorry, I didn't hear any of that last part of the question there because it said my internet was unstable.
Oh, I was asking, outside of just posing the question, what further things do you ask or to coach someone through this revelation?
I think a lot of times I'll ask the question like, what are you getting out of being in survival mode? Because sometimes people, what we don't realize is we don't realize like there's a choice to be in survival mode. Sometimes life puts us in that position, but then there's also a moment where sometimes we can choose to keep walking in that path. So it takes this sort of analysis of like, what am I getting out of it? Like, what am I needing from this? Or like, what makes me want to be in this mode versus be outside of it and be in a different situation than just surviving. Because there are times where life throws things at you and you just have to be there, and you'll make it through. But I think it's when you stay stuck in it for a long time and the environment no longer requires that you be in survival mode. If the environment and the relationships don't require that you be in that mode, I think it puts us in positions where we go, wait, so do I need to keep doing this? And if not, then why am I choosing to still stay here? And it could be something like, it's all I've known. And so because it's all I've known, it's what I've kept doing. And sometimes the answer is like, I don't know. Like for me, there was a moment where I was like, I'm not sure I'm not sure. I'm not sure people are going to be around if I stop over functioning for them. Like, I think they'll like relationally just ditch me if I stop doing everything for them. So then there was a moment where I was like, the only way to really know, because that wasn't on them. They weren't like, hey, like they weren't like, Brandon, you need to overfunction for us forever, or else we're not going to be in relationships with you. That was something I put on it, and so then I took a step back, and I went like a little sort of relationally radio silence, and people were like, "Hey, we miss you," and I was like, "What is this feeling? I've done nothing for this person, yet they're still like, we want to be around you. Where you been?" Like, I don't know what this is. This is weird. So I think the other question though is like, if we continue down this path, what cost are you going to have to pay for choosing to stay on this path?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it going to cost your marriage? Is it going to cost your children? Is it going to cost you financially, or physically? What is it going to do to your body long term?
Right.
And it's hard. I mean, because everyone that's been in survivor mode, you're there for really legitimate reasons. Like, no human baby just wakes up one day and was like, I would like to live in a constant state of stress for no reason at all. Like, you get there for legit reasons. It's if the legitimate reasons are no longer there and we still stay there, then it turns into that internal like question of like, why am I keeping this pattern going? What do I lose if I don't? Or what am I afraid to lose? Or what is it going to cost me if I keep on this path? Because it could cost me physically in some way, shape, or form.
That is true.
So,
I don't have anything to add on. Very sufficient.
I like how when you texted and I just like fired back and you're like, stop.
Because it's been a year plus. So you should know better.
I was ready though.
You weren't.
I was ready.
You should have not answered. That would have proved to me that you were ready. No, that was my only kind of hard-hitting question this week. I don't have much else for you guys. So we'll probably call it a early show. I ain't got shit for y'all. Outside of my good news, it's something that you just touched upon there, Brandon. I would tell people to stop putting on the cape that you made for yourself. Stop making yourself the superhero in everyone's story. Take the cape off. You're not the superhero in everyone's story.
Yep.
Be your superhero. If you need to wear it for yourself. Or, if someone's relying on you, throw it on them. And, but there's an end to that day where that cape has to come off. Mm-hmm. Again, time and place. That's all I got for y'all. So everybody say bye. We say bye. All right, y'all. Peace and love.